I'm Emily here with eRealEstateCoach. A couple of interesting stats have come out recently in the real estate universe. One of them comes from a deep report Zillow has done on the market. Another one comes from NAR Research themselves. And the interesting stats around this can affect maybe how you're practicing your real estate business. One of them is that of all the new sellers coming to market today, over half of them are first-time home sellers. We often talk about first-time home buyers, but these are first-time home sellers. And so that might influence how you're approaching the process with them in terms of talking about the process and what they can expect and maybe what their fears are through the process. You know, one of the biggest fears you find today is, because we're still in a low inventory market, even though the market's changing, is where am I going to go next? What's my replacement property going to be? And also, of course, they're going to have some fears about what they're going to net out of the property. Another interesting stat is that the average tenure in a home, according to the Zillow survey, is now 16 years. 16 years. Now, if you've been around in the real estate business a while, you've probably been watching that the NAR also measures this, and they have for years. And for the first 20, 25 years of my career, that average tenure in a home was about 6 years. 2 to 6 years was the average, and then people would move on. They'd buy their next home and move on and buy their next home and so forth. During the Great Recession, that number climbed to 10 years. And the last study that NAR did, it climbed to 12 years. That's how long people are staying in their home. Probably because they're underwater, interest rates, job issues, all kinds of things that have gone on during the Great Recession. But now that's climbed to 16 years. They've also looked at what percentage of people of homeowners are planning not to sell. So in the next 3 years, 87% of homeowners that own a home today don't plan to sell. And you might think that's bad news for the market, but actually I always look at the inverse of statistics. And what that number also tells us is that 17% of all homeowners do have some thought of selling in the next 3 years. 17% of the homeowner population is a massive group. And I want you to think about that number in terms of just as you're driving home through your neighborhoods or your farming neighborhoods or in the marketplace. That means about 1 out of every 6 homes is going to be coming on the market in the next 3 years in your marketplace. And so who are they going to list with? Are they going to list with you or your competitor? Now here's one more stat I'm going to throw at you. I know there's a lot of numbers here. One more stat is that NAR just did a study. They call it their home survey. And they found that right now we're at a record level. 77% of homeowners think it's a good time to sell. So 77% of homeowners think it's a good time to sell. That's the highest it's been in a long, long time, for years and years and years. And 17% are planning to sell in the next 3 years. Great reason to make contact. So how do you do it? I'm going to give you 3 quick ways with circle marketing. You've heard of circle marketing before. That just means taking an opportunity in a neighborhood and talking to some people in a circle around a particular listing. Now I'm going to assume for a second, maybe you don't have a lot of listings right now. You're listing light like a lot of agents in the market today. What do? So I'm going to give you one technique. Here's the showing technique. You show a home. We're all showing homes. You show a home in a neighborhood this week, and it's a neighborhood you'd like to take some listings in. It doesn't have to be your listing, it could be anyone's, and you simply knock on 5, 10 doors on either side of that home, and you say, hey, my name's your name. I'm with ABC Real Estate, and I just showed your neighbor's home yesterday. My buyers didn't quite connect with that house, but they love the neighborhood, so I just have to ask, have you folks ever considered selling? Or you could actually power it up a little bit with a little bit more punch and say, would you guys consider selling? I know it's a crazy question, but would you consider selling for the right price? That right price kicker can really inspire some people to think about the question you just asked. So that's one circle marketing technique. Here's another one. You're making an offer on a house in a neighborhood. Your buyers love it. They want to make an offer, or they made an offer. You come back, you hit that neighborhood, and you simply say, hey, my name's X, and I'm with ABC Real Estate, and I have some buyers. We are very interested in the home, your neighbor's house over there, and you point to the neighbor's house. Just if you don't mind, I have a couple quick questions. My buyers wanted me to kind of talk to some of the neighbors and kind of get a feel for the neighborhood. You know, when you buy a home, you don't just buy the home, you're buying the neighborhood. Can you tell me what's been in your experience living here? Have you liked living here? Where'd you guys move from? I'm just curious. How long have you folks been in the area? Can I ask you, do you know anything about the house that's for sale? This is an interesting question because often you find out more about the home that's for sale than the actual homeowners know about it because the people have lived in the area for a long time. And then of course you end it with, and by the way, I've got to ask, because I've got a lot of buyers circling, obviously, we're working on getting in contract on this one. Would you guys consider selling for the right price? Another circle marketing technique. Let me give you one more, and that is multiple offers. So you go into a multiple offer situation on a house, and let's say it fails. You don't get the house. Some other agent gets it. And you're like, bummer, but here's an opportunity. You talk to the neighbors around that house, and you simply say, hey, my name is Jim Remley. I'm with ABC Real Estate. Your neighbors have their home for sale. You probably saw a lot of activity. We made an offer on the house. Unfortunately, my buyers didn't end up being successful, but they love the neighborhood. Got to ask you, because my buyers really want to buy here, would you consider selling for the right price? There's some ideas for you, some stats for you this morning. If you like what you're hearing and you'd like to take it to the next level, please join us over at eRealEstateCoach.com and explore all the great courses. We've got some free courses. We've got some mastery courses. We've got a complete coaching platform for you there. Good selling, and have a great week.